RBA, the Australian Federal Reserve, basically raised interest rates by 0.25 to 2.85%. Inflation was at 7.3%, the highest it's been in 3 decades. The New Zealand dollar may raise against the USD and the Aussie after jobs numbers impress. The New Zealand NFP basically surprised on Tuesday when it had more than expected an uptick in the number of job openings. The U.S. Central Bank approved another sharp rise in interest rates. The U.S. interest rates rise to 14-year high. The latest increase takes the benchmark up to 3.75% to 4%, a range which is the highest since January of 2008. The Bank of England raises rates to 3% in the November meeting. The Bank of England Monetary Policy Committee sets monetary policy to meet the 2% inflation target. The Canadian NFP posts a larger than expected, a bumper job gain in October, coming in 10 times higher than forecast. The forecast was for 10,000 new jobs. It posted 108,300 jobs last month. The NFP reports that the U.S. adds 261,000 jobs in October as unemployment rates rise slightly. This basically is another data point that the Fed will use to basically determine if they want to continue raising rates. Since it was good, I believe that they will continue to raise rates. And the unemployment rate rose to 3.7%, which is close to a 50-year low. And in other news,
I do think we've failed in a couple of ways, and I want to admit that.
Failure comes with a big penalty. You're fired.
Why don't we, off.
This basically was something that was tweeted by Damon Imani. Okay, now what happened was, as you saw, it looked like Elon Musk basically fired somebody on air on the Joe Rogan show, but it's a parody. It's a parody. It's very interesting. She did actually get fired, okay, but she got fired privately. When I saw this, I was very, very upset, and I was mad at Elon Musk because that's something that you do privately. You don't do that on air. So that's something that I hope you guys maybe some of you actually saw that. So I am going to just go ahead and say, roll the intro. Hey ForexMilitia, this is Parsival, and I am bringing you the Forex Weekly Outlook for the week of the 7th to the 11th, and we are on the calendar, and I'm just going to go over quick because I already did all this in the preview. The Aussie cash rate, 2.85, the New Zealand, right? The federal funds rate, 4. The monetary policy from the Bank of England, 3. The Canadian NFP, 108,000. And the non-farm payrolls, 261,000. with a revision from last month higher from 263K. So that's huge. Looks like 50K. All right, so let's go. This was a huge week for news in Forex last week, and so this week this is a little bit less. As you can see, it is much less, and we basically have Governor Lowe speaking on Tuesday. Nothing on Monday really, just some medium news. The guard minister from the U.S. We have the congressional elections, the midterm elections in the U.S. And then the CPI. This is big news from the U.S. to basically see exactly if inflation is cooling or still hot. All right, so we'll see what actually happens with that. We have the pound GDP. We'll see exactly what the GDP for the pound is actually coming in at. And then the preliminary University of Michigan customer sentiment. All right, so that's everything that's basically going on in the news. Let's go to the charts and see what we can see. All right, here on the dollar, I added pivots. So to most people it'll look, but this is some very good information if you actually understand what's going on here. All right. So what we have here is the USD continuously hitting pivots, and it goes about 2 zones higher since May of 2022. And so looking at this, I'm projecting that this will actually move higher to about 118. It's at 110 right now. It had a big drop on Friday, but I do believe it will go to 118 sometime going into the end of the year. So it should rally, as you can see on some of my indicators. On the US 30 Dow Jones, it had a very interesting day on Friday. It rallied, it fell, it rallied, and it closed out with a rally. But we will see what actually happens, because this is midterm elections. So it'll be interesting to see if November, which is if it follows through in November, that the market actually rallies. If it declines, that would be unseasonal, because it usually rallies in November. So if this falls, that would be very unseasonal, and to me it looks like it is going to fall. But I'm not the big money market makers, and they're short, but there was a heavy addition to longs. On gold rallied on Friday. All right, and we had because of the jobs report. So what this could be was people are basically closing out their shorts and causing a short covering rally. So that's interesting. We'll see exactly what happens come this week. Okay, so there you go. Gold is long, right? You can see it on both of these indicators, but I am calling for more short, more downtrend. On Bitcoin, it is slightly short. All right, so this right here is going, it looks like it's going long. This is possibly just a pullback before it goes short again. And so I am looking for this to just pull back just that small amount and then go short again. On oil is long, and it'll be interesting to see if the dollar continues to rally, if oil rallies also, because most likely if the dollar actually rallies, then this will basically go this will go short. But right now it's looking like it can still go long. It can still possibly go long. Now my indicators are saying that this should definitely go short, which means that the dollar is going to rally. But COT has it long, so let's see what happens. There's a little bit of confusion. On the loonie, the loonie basically is still long. All right, it went long up into this pivot here, and this pivot basically is a midpoint between R2 and R3. So I believe what could happen is it already has retraced a fair amount. So this could just be a retracement before it actually rallies again up into 3 and then here 3.5. Okay, so I'm long on this because on the COT they are basically calling this to be they're calling the CAD the CAD itself, the Canadian dollar, to be short. So I'm still long on the USD CAD. Alright, so we are it has this having the euro on the euro, has it as being long. Okay, it did rally on Friday. It bounced off of this pivot point and this monthly support. Okay, so we are looking to see what's going to happen from there, and it's been diverging for a while, but it's giving a bit of mixed signals on what it's basically going to do. But I am going to stay short on the euro. On the pound, I'm going to stay short also, and on the COT it still has this short. This was a decent pullback. This is a I call it a proper pullback because it went above the 50, and it's showing on my indicators that it crossed over, and it's most likely going to continue to go short. So from here, what I would say is it's going to most likely, yeah, from here it's going to fall to about, at least to about here, 107.52. So about 107.50. Okay, and so with that, please like, comment, and subscribe. Leave me a comment to ask me any questions about my methodology, the pivots, my moving averages, and how I actually decide how to get the directions that the down or uptrend directions. And so with that, I'll say knowledge is power. Be power hungry and power to the people. This is Parsival. The closest thing to the Holy Grail is following the smart money. Signing out.